Good to see y'all. After watching the film and this weekend, I'm very proud of our guys, the way we went on the road and stayed focused. Probably played our best game of the year when you talk about all three phases, at least for the most part, of execution with consistency. Not giving up the big plays, creating big plays, not having the penalties, being more consistent down in, down out on the things we did. Execution level was up. Competed very well in the game, stayed focused and played the whole game against a team also that, as I said, I think Duke does a great job in their passing game, their pass pro game. Very, very technical, very good. Quarterback's going to be a really good player. I mean, he is a good player. Excuse me. I think they play at the next level. Defensive, they do. They're a little unorthodox. Their 8-man front, we were able to hit some big plays that helped us out, be able to get the running game going. And we executed, run and pass very well for the the best probably consistently we have. And defensively, I thought we did a great job mixing up some coverages and getting a lot of pressure against the team who knows how to throw it. The quarterback who knows where he's going with it. And special teams, we were solid. Had a couple penalties were disappointing on special teams that we don't need to do. We got to get that cleaned up. But we're getting better. Got a long way to go. And we have to remember what we did last week. Stay in that same moment. Worry about this week and try to be 1-0 at the end of this week. That's our focus, to live in the now right now and get better each day in each practice. Questions?
In the running game, it seems like the linemen did a good job of getting out on backers.
We got to the second level good, and we were hitting it. Lonnie did a good job. Our tight ends did a good job. Even our receivers downfield were locking on people, and we were slashing. We had a couple of nice runs. Devontae got the most of them because he got hot in there. But Jermaine had a couple of nice runs when he was in there. Ty had a couple of runs that just didn't open up for him at the time, and Devontae got hot. And then Lonnie popped a couple of runs out there, which was a good thing. And of course, EJ had a couple himself, which also helps and loosens that thing up a little bit. But Lyman did a very nice job at it. We're getting better and better, and especially with two young guys on the right side, it was good. It was good the way they blocked.
Looking at the film, did anything else jump out about Devontae's performance?
That's the consistency level he played with. And the burst he showed. He had good burst, good acceleration, played physical, ran through tackles, ran through arm tackles, good balance, inside and outside, and seemed to get stronger as the game went on. He in high school he carried the ball a lot. You know what I mean? And he got the rhythm, and that's why we wanted to stay with him. He got hot, and you always ask when you get back hot, do you leave him? Yeah, and he did. But I was pleased with the way he ran. Cotton had a nice third down conversion out of the backfield, and picked up on a couple blitzes, which is the big thing. Really understand pass protection better.
Jimbo, is Rashad Green's injury a one-week thing? Or
I'm hoping. I think so. I want to say I think so, but he was close in that game. They looked at it, and it was just. So I'm hoping he'll be back this week. That'd be a big boost to get him back.
And I imagine Jacoby's much longer than that.
Yeah, Jacoby will be season-ending. Jacoby will be out. He dislocated, maybe a little break on that bone and dislocated the ankle, and he'll have surgery tomorrow, and that's disappointing because he was getting better and better every week. Really, getting in his groove of playing, and you miss his experience. And it seemed like every week we get one of them, but unfortunately that was Jacoby this week.
And EJ played like there's no concern on the shoulder.
No. He ran the ball well, was smart about things. I thought he could have got down one or two other times a little bit better, but he did a nice job of that and, playing and seeing full go.
You touched on it after the game, but it seemed like you had your whole bag of tricks, your whole arsenal with him as a runner. Being able to use him as a runner made the offense just...
Well, it does because when the quarterback runs or the threat of running, it creates angles for the lineman because you're up a guy. You don't have to extend yourself to the full block like on a stretch play. Now, because the back becomes an extra blocker, you can declare back so the angles on the lineman can help. It makes them, they don't have to be as physical at times or have to be extended as much, have to chase as much. Their angles become better in what they do, and it makes them better players. It allows them better angles because football's a game of angles. Whether you're going to tackle a guy, you're running a route, you're whatever you do, it's a game of angles, and that quarterback run creates angles. Unless you're extremely talented. And we're young and beat up front right now. All of our old guys are like that, so it makes them better players and allows them to, then as they get better, they gain confidence, and then those other runs start to come out. As I say that, confidence is a powerful word, and that him doing that allows that, and we have to use them when we use them, but we want to be balanced and throw the ball and not running to death, but we have to pick and choose our moments.
Coach, you talked about EJ having a nice feel in that option game. He got pretty aggressive with a couple of those pitches there. Were you okay with the way he took care of the football?
Hey, we got to win games. You got to. You didn't put it on the ground. I mean, well, I mean, when you throw it, everybody used to gripe about when you throw it. Well, what can happen, boys? It ain't a completion or an interception, and you know, when you run it, well, you know, them guys that ran the option, they had more fumble pitches than probably the guys do interceptions. I mean, you know, there's an art to that, but if you're going to run it, you have to do it. It's like throwing a pass. If you're only throwing it to the wide open guy, you're not going to complete many balls. I mean, you gotta play the game, and he's confident and he's good at it.
How much do you think it helped your offensive line Saturday? EJ apparently had told them, look, I'm going to help you out. They're not going to be able to get their hands on me. Do you think that helped them relax? I mean, they certainly played as good a game as they played.
Well, I think they prepared better, and I think they're getting used to each other, and I think, you know, we technically, and I think Coach Trigger did a good job of getting them ready this week. And when your quarterback comes back and your leader comes back, it gives you confidence all the way around the board, on all phases, on everything you do. I mean, you know, I can remember years. I remember we had a great year one time in 2002. LSU, we were 8th in the country. Lose our quarterback 6-1, end up 8-5. You know, I mean, and our defense was great, and they deteriorated as it went down because they were trying to do other things and make it. Whether you say it all the time or not, when you're a leader, you have a definite leader like that. No matter how good Clint plays or whatever, he is a definite leader on his team, and he establishes that team, and he gives the team confidence. And hopefully we can continue to play well, and we got to do that. But it affects everybody, and you can say it doesn't, and if you do, you're sticking your head in the sand. And we got to keep him healthy and play him well.
How do you use a win over Duke like this to catapult the team to win the next few games?
You just take it and you play well. You take what you did well from that game and build on it. You take what you did poorly and correct it, and it's one game. And remember that the next game is one game, and you remember how you prepared for that. You know, but you know. And just keep doing it every week and develop consistency like I talk about playing. Well, how you prepare, how you do things, the confidence you get. And anytime you win, you can draw it up anytime you want. You get confident. Anytime you lose confidence. I don't care what it is. That's human nature. And you have to get back on that winning track and remember why you do things. And remember there's the secret to it. There is no secret. It's going out there and executing and being consistent.
Speaking of getting back on track, Zamari Sanders actually kind of played a little bit better. He made up for some of the penalties that he had the week before. Just what did you say out of
He'll never make up penalties yet.
Sure.
He'll go back. I promise you. No, he did. No, Zebra played good. Zebra played good. He's a player moved to the left side, a veteran guy, making calls and helping those guys, and he had a very good. He played a really good football game.
Has that kind of been the big formula, I guess, is maybe some of the switches you guys did last week?
Well, I mean, you like to say there's something magical about everything you do. I mean, when you lose, it's everything's disastrous, and when you win, it's just those magical touches you have. I mean, you know, that's what we thought gave us the best chance to win the game, and those kids executed, and you know, we got the right side, guys felt more comfortable, and the left side, you know, Zebra didn't mind going on that side, and allowed us to. We functioned and we played well. Hopefully, we'll be able to continue and do it again this week.
On Andrew Dacko's injury, is there a possibility he can redshirt, or is
yeah, there is a possibility. There is a possibility. I mean, because it's medical. I mean, if he doesn't come back, because he did not play in 4 games.
Could you talk about Bjorn's performance on defense in the game?
Played very good, very consistent. Pushed the pocket, had a sack, had a tackle for loss, had a couple tackles, but then batted 4 balls. Actually 5, which one of them was doesn't count because it's a 2-point conversion, and that would have been 5. But he just like I say, affecting the quarterback. Big guys, long guys. You can. I thought Brandon Jenkins actually had a really good game. And the stats didn't show, but he affected, caused a fumble in the pocket, stripped, and they were having slide coverage to him and helped. I think it let Bjorn be one-on-one, but Bjorn played to run well. He played to pass well. Just very instinctive, and he's the one got the tip that Everett got the interception. We finally got one of those to go our way, and you keep going. But he's just playing very consistent, having fun, and Bjorn's not making the big plays, trying to. He's making the smart plays, and that's what we got to continue to do as a team. Just doing what he's supposed to do. Being our definition of a hero, doing what you're supposed to do every day, doing the best you can do it, and where you can count on it, and do it full speed. And then he's just in position, and those opportunities are coming when preparation, meets opportunity, and then he's taking advantage and being able to make them.
Is there a certain technique or timing? Obviously, he's pretty good.
That's instinct. Him and Brandon both have that. Brandon does a good job of that. Ant got in the bat and the ball, but Brandon does it. You'll see Brandon a lot of times stop and get up and get his hand. He does that in practice all the time to us. You know what I mean? But there's it's just that instinct, that part of the game that you can coach to a point. You work on going the 3-step, getting your hands down, reading the quarterback as you're rushing. You're saying, okay, rush and beat the pass, but feel the quarter. I mean, some guys can do it, some guys can't. And he's got a good feel sometimes, I think, and then getting his hands up. And you can affect the quarterback without sacking him. you know, and those hands and all that stuff can deflect balls and tip balls, and or make them go high or errant and get picks and different things like that.
Bjorn also, he seems to sometimes see things, running plays, develop and stuff. Does he surprise you with that? Because he didn't grow up playing this game.
He's very instinctive. You know, both are ends, and I say the same thing about Brandon Jenkins too. I mean, he really does too. It just doesn't seem like the opportunities have come in there, but he's the same way. I'm telling you. But Bjorn has a great sense and feel for the game. That, you know, as I say, you can coach it. It's that gray area of the game, that 10 or 15% of the game that you wish you can coach. You can't coach instinct. You can draw it up all you want to, and you can put them in position. You can teach them. It can get better. But instinct is you have it or you don't. And he seems to have that enough, you know, to make plays.
How do you assess the young guys in offense who have had to step in, guys like Rashad, Devontae, Bobby?
Well, keep going. There's a bunch of them on there that have, and you know, Christian Green. I mean, Scooter Hay. I mean, all those guys. You know, on the offense, Nick O'Leary. I mean, you're talking about guys. You know, Clint Trickett. I mean, you're talking about bunches of guys on the offensive side of the ball that have played because of injury. I mean, we've actually, you know, we're down 6 starters when you get down to that. So I mean, you have a lot of guys that have come in and stepped up, and that's why I say the emergence of those young guys when other guys get hurt. That's hopefully why we can keep developing depth as we go on in the years. That when those injuries occur, you know, you can keep on going. And but they've done a tremendous job. I mean, just developing more consistently, be able to make big plays, add. You know, they keep improving and knowing that sometimes they're going to make a mistake and they keep going on and competing. And been very proud of that young group. Really have all those. I mean, you know, all those guys. Linemen, tight ends, running backs, quarterbacks, receivers. At all positions, we've had to play them.
Jimbo, considering the way Devontae played last week, does that give him a leg up in terms of the workload or the carries?
Well, we'll see. I mean, he'll go out and have practice. He has another great week of practice, which I think he will. And we're going to make sure he gets his touches. I mean, and the other guys will get their touches too. And we'll make sure if he gets hot, we get going. But he's, you know, he seemed to get in a good rhythm, and he comes to practice every day.
Coach, you obviously noticed on the sideline when you're having a bad day in terms of penalties. You did in this past week. Is there anything you noticed that just not a lot of flags and you're playing?
Oh yeah, I mean, because you're not putting yourself behind the 8 ball. I mean, because when you have those penalties, it's, you know, everybody says, well, why'd you throw that pick, or why'd you have that bad play, or why'd you get that sack? Well, generally, a lot of it has to do with the play before. It's a situation you put yourself into. You know what I mean? And trying to make up. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, when you don't study for a test. You try to cram in the end, you don't get the same results as when you study the whole way. And when you don't have the self-inflicted wounds and the things that set you back, penalties, turnovers, negative plays on offense are the no-nos. And well, defensively, on everything. I mean, that goes that way. But you know, it's big and allows you to call plays in a rhythm, and you can be aggressive but be smart, not have to expose guys.
Yeah, but why do you think the passing game has produced so many big plays this year, as opposed to the last few years where you guys still moved the ball really well but didn't hit a lot of?
Well, I think experience at receiver. I think those guys have grown up, which I've told you. I mean, they're developing more consistently, and the young guys are big playmakers. I mean, you know, you're talking about some guys that are extremely talented. I mean, a big time. There's a different guy. You know what I'm saying? That can go get it and go make the play and go do that. And it's not against anybody else, but there's some of those young guys that got tons of ability, and that's why we've in our recruiting efforts been able to get the guys we're trying to target and get to, and getting used to the system, and they've been out there making them.
And how good is EJ? EJ seems to be really good, really comfortable throwing the deep ball.
He does. He likes it. He likes all. He likes underneath. He likes to run. He's like, you know, he's very unique in that, you know, he's one of the runners that that can throw the football and have the quickness of a little guy, long speed, size, underneath routes. But he's still developing. There's still some mistakes he can get, because you hate to say it, he still hadn't started a full season yet. I mean, even with all the games he started, you know, at 6 going into this season, it's still 7, 8. That's 9, right? It's only 9 games. It's only his 9th game of his career starting, when you get right down to it. There's only 3 this year. Excuse me, 4. I apologize, because he got hurt in the middle of the Oklahoma game. It's 10. And then into that. So, you know, he's developing more and more each day, and as he picks up his blitzes and his reads and his checks, and he's getting better and better and being a lot more consistent.
Jimbo, you were talking about confidence earlier, and it appears at least, that Christian Green really seems to be coming better every game with more opportunities he has. Mm-hmm. I mean, is he a kid that in particular maybe is benefited by just snaps?
Yeah, him and Rashad Green, all those young guys. Yep, I mean, he has, and he got in there now, and he's got an opportunity. He's taking advantage of it, and he's found a niche and a role for himself, and he's getting better and better every week. He really is.
And you're also talking about how much the young players have helped, but most of those young players are 19 and 20. You've got one 17-year-old. Where is he kind of at with?
Oh, he's good. I mean, he started a couple games, made some nice adjustments in the game, and getting better and better. And I think every time you go out there and you have success, and you do it, you see yourself doing it. I think it grows, and because ability is not the issues with him. He's an extremely talented young man, but he is a freshman, and there's going to be some mistakes, especially at that position.
Well, you said I think you had a 17-year-old, but it wasn't an offensive lineman. This is probably the first 17.
Offensive. It was a quarterback. But yeah, which is dangerous too. I promise you. But no, it's a tough thing to do. What he's doing is very difficult, and it's quite amazing. It really is.
Speaking of quarterbacks, Maryland has kind of switched quarterbacks here midstream. What have you seen?
Well, Brown's given him a great lift. I mean, extremely athletic, runs the ball, all the zone reads, can still throw it, scrambles around, creates plays with his feet. I mean, he's given them some pep and life, and they're moving the football and scoring points.
You thinking shootout here Saturday?
we just need to play a good football game and score more points than they do. Whether it's 7-3 or 3-0 or whatever, we need to play well in all three phases. We play a good defensive game, and that's why I was proud of our defense. I thought our defense played very consistent. Batted balls, get pressure. And I'm gonna tell you, Duke's got a very good passing game. I mean, you got to remember they're adding 400 yards a game and throwing it very well. And we affected a good quarterback and limited the big plays. They got a couple, but.
Did you watch the Sunday night game last night?
No.
Fourth quarter, anyway?
No.
So
Oh, you mean Christian? When I got home, when I got home about 11. Matter of fact, I got in and just sat down the bed, looked up, and somebody called and said he was in. Turned on it because I was first play. I take that back. I did see him play his
what was that? I mean, you've done it obviously for a decade.
Just proud, happy, and excited for him, and just knowing the feeling that was in his gut going out there. And I thought he played pretty well. Threw the ball really well, made some nice plays in the pocket. And I'm gonna tell you, when you're down like that, they can lay their ears back and come at you. They were coming at him. He was creating plays with his legs, but stood in the pocket and delivered the ball down the field, threw it very tightly, deep ball. And I mean, I thought he looked pretty sharp for his first outing.
They didn't seem to really buy the play action when they're down by 29.
See, but the other thing you don't realize, how a lot of teams will do that because of protection. See, sometimes you'll even pull guys like it's a true run, pull a guard and do things, because when you get true when you slide and say, okay, I'm going to block you, and I'm going to block you, and you fan block, all the twists and games and straight drop back passing is hard on an offensive line. When you play action, sometimes you'll slide protect or turn, and all the twist games inside can be stopped. So that's, even though the play action is, and we know it is not the issue, what we're doing it for, because protections sometimes are different on play actions that allow you to block straight drop back passes a lot better, and that's, I'll guarantee that's why they were doing it.
When you're watching them though, what are the emotions? Are you happy? Are you like, oh, you just missed that throw, or oh?
I mean, I go through the game with him, just trying to make decisions and all that, and just more watching him, enjoying him, letting somebody that's living their dream and has worked hard and gotten to where they want to get to, and hopefully keep developing into a great career up there. It was just very proud for him and his family.
I haven't seen Moses McCray in a few weeks. Is he done for the year?
I don't know if he's done for the year, but we're trying to nurse some things and get back through, but not necessarily done for the year.
Is it surprising that Maryland had to go with a quarterback change with how good O'Brien was last year?
Yeah, it just shows you. I mean, when you bank things in things and say, okay, this guy's this guy's this. I mean, you don't ever know what twist and turn your team is going to take. I mean, and how guys play around you and what happens and injury. I mean, and sometimes those are not based off. It may not be him. He may not fit the style they need to be able to move the ball. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why guys get changed at all positions. I mean, it may not be their fault totally, but the dynamic of the team sometimes forces another guy to play, because there may be a weakness in your team somewhere else that this guy can make up for and allow you to move the ball. So it's not necessarily that guy's fault. Sometimes it's another guy's fault. And I think the thing this guy's done for him has created a lot of legs and running ability, which right now is what's moving the football with. But he can throw it also.
He did that here.
Because their quarterback O'Brien's a good player. I mean, maybe having a bad whatever's going on. I don't know. No problems of our own. But I liked him as a player. I thought he was a very good football player.
Similarly, you did the same thing here when you put Christian in as a son.
You're exactly right, because all the freshman linemen and the mobility and the athleticism that he brought to the position to be able to run and create, because I thought it was the best way we had to move the football. And it's not the other guy's fault. That's the thing people don't understand sometimes. You have to do things by the dynamic of your team or the injuries that occur or what else happens around you. I mean, to be able to move the ball. So it's not always that guy's, is anything he did wrong. It could be what somebody else did wrong, but he has to feel the ramifications of it.
The play where EJ was rolling out and found Dent on the scramble, that,
That was a pocket pass. We were actually had the pocket and the protection broke down, and he scrambled.
but the,
Oh, wait, the fumble?
no, the play where he was rolling.
He was the
ended up-
first play of the second quarter.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
scrambled
okay,
out
it was a
first.
drop back pass, and we had a protection breakdown, and he
Yeah.
scrambled out of the pocket.
But then to pull up and hit the pass.
Keeps his eye. He does a great job. He doesn't look to tuck the run. I mean, as he's attacking, he's doing a great job of keeping the ball up and keeping his eyes up. And they noted. Who else did that very well? The guy who played last night, 7. Christian used to get a lot of plays like that. And it's something you try to coach and work on, but it's an instinct too. It's a lot easier said than done, I promise you. Because when those guys get around you and you're in there and you come out, they're poised to have it up and keep your eyes up and make those plays downfield. And that's what a lot of those really athletic guys, the old Elways of the business, made all those big plays scrambling out of the pocket. That's a time when you can do that because guys got to cover so long. It's an instinct and a gift.
I have one more question.
Coach, have you thought about how the stadium's going to be Saturday? But by the time the game rolls around, it's 5 weeks since your last home game, and obviously Oklahoma was a pretty unique experience.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I mean, I know I haven't really thought about that, and I'm still trying to game plan for Maryland and make sure we're in the right place and doing the right things. No, I'm sure our fans will be very supportive.
You mentioned the way the guys responded last week to adversity. How have you seen them respond this week?
Well, we haven't been around them as much, we'll get around them here, but they were good, bright-eyed. Everybody was, we watched the film this morning, and they were bouncing around and seemed very focused and understood that, all of a sudden, like everything's never as bad as it seemed, all of a sudden everything's not as great as it seemed. We have to go back and keep getting better and, each week and take it 1 week at a time. They seem very good this morning.
Is Jacoby your only major
Last
hit
question.
there?
I'm sorry?
Jacoby, was he the only one that really got?
Yes, in that game, yes. And that was unfortunate because it was actually one of our own guys that fell down into it. That was